Okay, I think we are ready to go with our, we call this meeting to order. Again, I'd like to welcome each and every one of you. This is our December council meeting. We started our morning early, this committee here, council. We've had about 5 committee meetings this morning. Council has worked hard. Our staff, I want to thank Gail and Shelley, Teddy, and Jody, Carla, for the outstanding work they did to make everybody appreciative today. They got the office decorated, and everybody's welcome. If I forget to make that announcement, tomorrow we will serve the employees and any guests that want to come. You know, just come, just have a good attitude, and we'll take care of you. This is the giving season, so we're in a pretty giving mood right now. So with that, I'll call this meeting to order, and I'll ask invocation. Deputy, why don't you give the invocation here? Why don't we go to you, okay?
Heavenly Father, I thank you for this day, this chance to do the work of our people that we were elected to do. I thank you for this council and the work they do. They've been busy today, Father, and I trust that you gave them guidance to help them do the right things. I thank you for the audience that's gathered here, the veterans that are gathered with us. Thank you for their service to this country. I ask you to be with those that's standing in the breach today, protecting our way of life, and for first responders and all of those folks who run to tragedy and to help those that might be injured. And Father, for those in our communities that are sick and afflicted or lost loved ones, they need your help, your comfort, your encouragement, your strength. Only you can provide for them, Father. And I pray you would do that. Be with us in this meeting this evening. Help it go good and help us have a great evening together, taking care of the business of our people. Give us direction, give us guidance as leaders, that we might always do the right thing for the right reason for the people. And Father, I would ask that you would forgive us where we fail. Continue to bless. We love you, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Deputy, for that wonderful words of wisdom there. Shelley, would you please do roll call?
Yes, sir. Buell England.
Honey.
Keith Austin.
Here.
Harley Buzzard.
Here.
Joe Byrd.
Honey?
Sean Crittenden.
Honey.
Mike Dobbins.
Here.
Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Wanda Hatfield. Rex Jordan. Dick Lay.
Honey.
Mike Shambaugh.
Here.
Mary Bakershaw. E.O. Smith.
Honey.
Janice Taylor. Victoria Vasquez. David Walkingstick. Brian Warner. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Shelley. This time I would entertain approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
And a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the ayes have it. This time we'll go to the State of the Nation from our Principal Chief, Bill John Baker.
OCO, and welcome to the December meeting. It is truly a joy to be back amongst you. I have been traveling, I guess, the last 3 council meetings, and I was starting to forget what everybody looked like and missing you all here. But many important things took place while I was not with you. I was able to go to Washington, D.C., and testify on the Stigler Act, which many of us know it as the 47 Act, which we are getting movement on as we speak. We got the 5 chiefs to sign on to a compromise, if you will, and Representative Cole is going to take it to markup, and God willing, out of this will finally come where our restricted lands can pass to Cherokees, Creeks, Choctaw, the 5 tribes, to family members that are less than a half-blood Cherokee, so that we'll stop the massive loss of our restricted land We started out in 1917 with over 15 million acres, and sadly, we're down to 387,000 acres of restricted family land, and we truly hope we'll pass this so that we won't lose another acre as blood quantum drops and our kids fall in love with non-Cherokees, and that's what we get. But hopefully that will take place. We were able to dedicate a solar panel which puts out enough electricity for 3 homes, and it pushes it into the complex, and then it'll charge. Right now, 8 cars can charge, and we've got room to grow, and the pipes are in the ground, so we could add 8 more charging stations. And the tribe picked up two vehicles on a grant that are totally electric vehicles, and I won't say who, but one of them got one of them up to 85 miles an hour with 4 people in it. But they are amazing, and so if you get a chance, you might talk to Pat Gwynn, and he'll let you take a test ride of what a true modern electric car is like. We've had an extremely successful Christmas season with the Cherokee Angel Project this year, and I think I got the last 2 or 3 angels off of it, and we're serving over 2,000 Cherokee kids this season through our employees and through this very vitally needed program that puts smiles on kids' faces that otherwise would have nothing. We recently had a fella come through, and they came up and took a picture with Deputy. He was the 100,000th Cherokee to get his photo ID. We've been doing it just around 5 years, and so we're making great strides and progress. The staff, I was a little under the weather and didn't get to go to every one of them, but we had participation in 11 parades throughout the 14 counties over the last week. We had 2 floats and going in different directions and trying to make every parade that we possibly could to see those smiling faces up and down the highways and byways of this Christmas season. We just got off of employee appreciation for Christmas and our Christmas party, and a good time was had by all. Many door prizes, lots of games, lots of fun, lots of laughter, lots of food, lots of baloney. And but I truly believe it was one of the best that we've been able to have. Also, we got a Christmas present today that we settled the 1998 contract support cost for exactly what we told them it was, and the tribe will receive about $8 million when they actually pay that out in contract support costs that we said they owed us, and they said they didn't, and they offered us $1 million, and we went back and forth, and I think we got within $15,000 of our first ask. So I certainly appreciate everybody that worked so hard to get those funds coming back to us. I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that W.W. Hastings, the construction there at the hospital is going fabulously. They've got all 4 stories up. They don't have the roof on the 4th story yet, but it is exciting. It is fabulous. It is going to be a game changer in the dollars that come into the Cherokee Nation, in the services that we'll be able to provide. And if you get a chance to go up by, it's on target, on time, on budget, and they're moving right along. Cold weather or not, it doesn't seem to bother them much. So with that, we are truly blessed as a nation. And things are looking up and going our way, and it couldn't happen without supportive council, with the staff and all the folks around me, and most importantly, the employees that work hard each and every day to make these dreams a reality. So, Wado for everybody that works so hard to make the lives of Cherokees better each and every day. This time we'll go into the part that we remember those that were with us last month that are not with us this month, and then we'll have, I'll ask for any others, and then we'll have a moment of silence if we could. Marilyn Anderson of Locust Grove, Verna Brown of Locust Grove, Annabelle Candy of Tahlequah, Rhonda Childers of Siloam Springs, Mark Dawson of Locust Grove, Leonard Green of Nowata, Tammy Hauser of Tulsa, Frankie Jacobson Sr. of Glenpool, Clarence Kingfisher of Pryor, Terry Lambert of Owasso, Donna Maloney of Pryor, Chester Milton of Grove, James Stumper of Bartlesville, Larry Vance Sr. of Tahlequah, David Walden of Pryor, Stephen Whitekiller of Tahlequah, Brittany Willis of Veneta, Guy Wilson of Halbert, World War II veteran, and went on our first Warrior flight, and former tribal counselor Bill Johnson from up in the Dewey area. Are there others?
John Abercrombie is a veteran from Jay, Oklahoma.
Laureen Neckedhead of Stillwell, Julius Dan Ryder of Stillwell, and Eli Pumpkin Sr. of Stillwell.
Missed that, yeah.
Louis Matthews of South Coffeyville.
Jimmy Dean Sequechi, Salisaw.
If we could have a moment of silence, please. Well, and I hope each and every one of you have a blessed Christmas and a happy New Year, and don't eat too much with your family, and truly enjoy this holiday season.
Thank you, Chief. Next up is our Cherokee Warrior Veterans Awards. Deputy Chief.
Thank you, Speaker. This evening we have 4 veterans to receive the Warrior Award and the Medal of Patriotism. And the first one is from at-large. So Council Ladies Hatfield and Shaw, would you come down and help, please? Our first veteran tonight is Stephen Allen Case. Stephen, would you come forward, sir? Stephen Allen Case completed boot camp in San Diego, California in 1974 and was assigned to Aviation Structural Mechanic Hydraulics School in Millington, Tennessee, where he made rank of E4 after graduation. From there, he was assigned to Training Squadron 10 in Pensacola, Florida, where he spent and completed 4 years of shore duty and earned the rank of E5. He then re-enlisted and accepted orders to sea duty based in Rota, Spain in Fleet Air Reconnaissance Squadron 2, VQ-2 in 1978. For the last 2 years of military life, he was assigned to Naval Air Station Cecil Field in Jacksonville, Florida. He was assigned as a law enforcement instructor, a watch commander where he assisted the military working dog handlers in attacks and narcotics and explosive training. While there, he retired from NAS Field in October 1994 with an honorable. Decorations, the medal, badges, and campaign ribbons awarded. Navy Achievement Units Commendation, Meritorious Unit, Good Conduct Medal, Expeditionary Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal, Navy Sea Service Medal, Navy Marine Overseas Ribbon, Sharpshooter Rifleman Badge. And Mr. Case, on behalf of a grateful nation, thank you for your service to this country, sir.
This is something that you earned, not something we're just giving. And Cherokee always honored and revered our veterans. And this is just another part of that. And we'll turn that around. We'll get a picture.
Okay, we're gonna do a couple on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Now, do you want your daughter to come?
We can have someone take one with your phone.
Come right on in.
Do you want to have someone?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, right here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good.
Anything you'd like to say, sir?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Council Lady Taylor, would you come and help with this next one, please? Our next veteran this evening is Russell J. Feeling. Russell, would you come forward, please? Mr. Feeling's basic training for the Air Force life took place at Lackland Air Force Base Training Center, 24th day of November 1965 in San Antonio, Texas. After 17 weeks of brute training at Lackland, he was transferred to Kessler Air Base in Biloxi, Mississippi, where he finished the rest of his 17-week basic training. After completing his basic training, he once again started training in the field of radar navigation for all Air Force aircrafts and 13 months of basic electronic skills, followed with learning to remove and repair equipment on the then new swift-wing jet fighter bomber, the F-111. That gave him another 6 months stay at Keeler Air Base. After completing that training, his orders were cut to a permanent base far west to Nellis Air Force Base, Technical Air Command Squadron, Las Vegas, Nevada, home of the famous Air Force Thunderbirds. Nellis Air Base was where the fighter jet pilots did their training for weapons run in actual combat zone. The rest of his tour of duty was spent in Nellis Air Base, 2 years of working on fighter aircraft navigation systems, radar and internal guidance systems, terrain following radar, and weapons firing systems on fighter jets. On February the 20th, 1969, Russell Feeling received his honorable active duty discharge, and he returned to the Air Force Reserves until 1971. Decorations and commendation medals earned: National Defense Service Medal, Small Arms Expert, Marksmanship Medal, and Air Force Medal 900-3. Mr. Feeling, on behalf of a grateful nation, thank you, sir, for your service to this country.
You'll turn that around for me.
Okay.
There you go. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Anything you'd like to say today?
Just thank you. Thank you, Cherokee Nation.
Do you have any family members?
Well, sure.
Come on down.
Come down here.
Bring your camera. We'll get somebody to take one.
Cherokee if you want.
He's a co-top.
Really?
Oh, he's got a good voice.
Christmas song, he might be
Say something if you want to.
Do you want the guys to take a picture with us?
now.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Did you get it?
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Would you like to say something for him?
It's good to see you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Councilman Austin, would you come down and help with this next one, sir? Our third veteran this evening is a gentleman named Charles E. Lane. Charles, would you come forward, sir? Mr. Charles Edward Lane enlisted in the U.S. Naval Reserves on February 10, 1953, and was part of Southern Communications Area Electronics, the installation team at Tulsa and Stillwater until 1955. In 1955, he served 3 years in the regular Army. His duty assignment took him to Fort Bliss, Texas, Fort Gordon, Georgia, Fort Sheridan, Illinois, Camp McCoy, Wisconsin, and an overseas tour to Frankfurt, Germany in the communications field. Returning in the year of 1958, upon finishing his tour, he was transferred to the Army Reserve from January of 58 to September of 58 with no war action. When Mr. Lane was released from the Reserve September of 58, he joined the Air Force. He was stationed at different stateside air bases. Decorations and campaign ribbons awarded are NCO Professional Military Education Ribbon, the Air Force Longevity Service Ribbon with 5 oak leaf cluster, National Defense Service Medal, Air Force Good Conduct Medal, Meritorious Service Medal, Air Force Commendation Medal with 1 oak leaf cluster. Before retiring from the Air Force, his duties were as a technician in communications and power production. Mr. Lane retired from his military service duties with an honorable discharge in October of 1981 at Patrick Air Force Base, Brevard County, Florida. Mr. Lane, on behalf of Grateful Nation, thank you, sir, for your service to this country.
One, two, three.
Got any family you want to come down?
Come on down. He's
Come
got a
on.
bunch of them with him tonight.
He couldn't make his mind. He did the Air Force.
He's done 2 or 3.
He's just tried them all.
He likes them all.
Back and forth.
Very generous.
All right, right here on 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Anything you'd like to say, sir?
Give us a speech.
We thank y'all and appreciate the award here.
We
It's
appreciate
been a
you.
while.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Councilman Warner, would you come and help with this presentation, sir? And Eel? They just write one name on here sometimes, and so. Our fourth veteran tonight is Tommy P. Terrapin. Tommy, would you come forward? Mr. Tommy Paul Terrapin entered the United States Air Force October of '66 and was shipped to Lackland Air Force Base for basic training and tech school. When his training was over, he was assigned to Ramstein Air Base, Germany. As a radar operator, after spending 3 years in Germany, Mr. Terrapin was assigned back to Shepherd Air Force Base for retraining in computer programming. He spent approximately 5 years in that field, a year and a half spent as an instructor back at Shepherd Air Force Base. During the time he was assigned back at the radar field, he spent 3 years on remote radar sites in Cold Bay, Alaska, King Salmon, Alaska, Osan, Korea. Then he returned to AWACS, Squadron Tanker Air Force Base in Oklahoma. Retrained as an air surveillance operator on the E-3A aircraft there at Tinker. He spent his final years of his Air Force career at Tinker Field training to fly the E-3A. After completing weeks of training, he became qualified to fly the E-3A aircraft and was assigned to fly missions with all branches of our service. As AWACS became more integrated into the big picture, he started spending more time in different countries overseas. His first large deployment was to Saudi Arabia before the outbreak of Desert Storm began. Mr. Tommy P. Terrapin retired with an honorable discharge as an E-7 Master Sergeant from Tinker Air Force Base, December of 1989. His decorations: the Air Medal with 1 bronze OCL. Is that an oak cluster leaf? That's what I thought. Joint Service Commendation Medal, Air Force Outstanding Unit Award, the Air Force Training Ribbon, USAF, NCO PME Graduation Ribbon, Air Force Commendation Medal with 2 bronze OCLs, Air Force Good Conduct Medal, Air Force Organizational Excellence Award, Air Force Overseas Short Tour Ribbon, and Small Arms Expert Marksman Ribbon. Mr. Terrapin, on behalf of the grateful nation, I want to thank you for your service to this country.
Thank you.
One, two, three.
She was fast that time.
I'm
And
getting mad.
good family you back.
My wife is up here.
One, two, three.
Anything you'd like to say, sir?
Well, I appreciate the Cherokee Nation for awarding these awards, and I'm going to honor this one till the end of my days.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, that's all I have this evening.
Deputy, good job. We appreciate
Thank you, sir.
the veterans for being here. Who was going 85 miles an hour, Deputy? Because we were going to do a test drive ourselves, some of the council members, but I was going to send somebody out there first until I found out who was the driver.
I rode in one of the cars, but it didn't go that fast.
Okay. All right. Unfinished business, we have none. Committee reports, we have with us tonight Mr. Chuck Garrett. One thing about Chuck, he'll show up.
Good evening, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the hardworking men and women of Cherokee Nation businesses, it's always an honor to be here this evening with you all to provide the CNB report. We're reporting on September numbers and activities, current activities. For financials for September 2017, we had a very, very strong month in September. For C&E, revenues were above budget and above year to date, or excuse me, above prior year. EBITDA was also above budget and above prior year. On CNB, consolidated revenues were above budget and above prior year, and CNB net income which is the calculation, obviously, that we use for dividend purposes, was also up for September as well as September prior year. The monthly contributions to the nation beyond the dividend: retail sales contributions of $312,210, and liquor excise tax in the amount of $20,463, for a total of $332,673 above the dividend. We do have several projects that are in the works, many of which, in fact, you might have started to see some signs along the highway in front of Cherokee Springs Plaza. You may even get a phone call or two, but we're happy to be involved in expanding the highway there, some highway work that frankly was long overdue, very congested area right now, and with the development of Cherokee Springs Plaza and the Tahlequah Casino that will be constructed there next spring, you're going to see increased traffic. So we're trying to get ahead of the game. It's a 120-day project. We've coordinated with the city of Tahlequah as well as the school superintendents to make sure that we minimize the hassle for everyone in the community. The road work, the 26,000 cars pass through that intersection every day, so it was pretty clear to everybody that we needed some deceleration lanes and some turning lanes to make that a convenient and safe intersection. The Cherokee Christmas exhibit is open at the Cherokee Nation Supreme Court Museum. It's supposed to be a terrific show and features information about how traditions began and displays decorations similar to what were used at the Vans, Georgia home during the first Cherokee Christmas. The Cherokee Nation Supreme Court is located at 122 East Katua Street. It is open Tuesday through Saturday, open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Nanyehi, the story of Nancy Ward, a legendary woman who was first honored in the 18th century as a Cherokee war woman, but then as a peacemaker during the American Revolution. It's been a popular show that many of you have seen, probably all of you, but this is your big opportunity. The casting call supports the musical is May 4th through 5th, so all the aspiring actors and actresses, I see many here, this is your big opportunity. And so auditions will be held January 13th through 14th at the Fly Loft in Tulsa. Nanyehi is presented by CMB at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. Regarding employment, currently CMB employs both full-time and contract employees, 6,789 folks. 4,769 of those are CMB employees, so that excludes the contract and temporary employees. And of those 4,700 people, 73.9% are Cherokee. The other natives equal 6.6% for a total of 80.5% native. So we're very proud of that number, and we continue to focus on creating opportunities for Cherokee citizens and appreciate all of your support. And that concludes my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions, Speaker.
Any questions? Yes, Councilor Austin?
Yes, Chuck, would you have an update on the downtown pavilion and the cultural side? I'm calling it the cultural sidewalk because I feel that's a little...
Well, I don't have a lot of specifics. I happened to be speaking to Ms. Jarvis today about that project, and she was enthusiastic about the progress. I know that the plans are in the works, and the sidewalk or the walkway, I guess, is more descriptive, is in design, and so I don't have a lot of specifics for you, Counselor, I'm sorry to say, but I know a lot of energy and focus is being put on it because it's a big deal, and it's being taken very, very seriously.
Anybody else? Good report.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. Next, we have the first time from our Historical Society Heritage Center, Dr. Charles Gord. He was trying to hide from me last month, but found him out and said, you need to give a report, give us an update. He's been with us now, how many months, Dr. Gord?
Since June.
June, okay.
Can't count that far. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and everybody for the council, Chief Baker and Deputy Chief Crittenden. It's really a great honor to present just an overview of what all we're doing and what's happening out at the Heritage Center, because when I started there, back when I was going to Northeastern, and I think we need to start an alumni club of those who have worked at the Heritage Center at some point in their life. I was one of the original tour guides in the ancient village that was there, and then I changed from lights and sound to being a dancer in the Trail of Tears drama. So that was some of the hardest work I've ever done in my life. If you don't believe that, try it sometime. I think the thing that has amazed me the most since I started there in June is the absolute total dedication and commitment of the people who work there. To give you an example, so far this year we've had over 28,000 people on site to come and participate in all of our activities. We've been in direct contact with 28,600 people, both within the jurisdictional boundaries and with the at-large communities. We've had visitors from all 50 states. We've had people come to this as a point of destination from 70 countries around the world. So the Heritage Center is truly the voice and the face of the Cherokee people, and I think it's really important that we begin to work directly with and more with both the communities within the jurisdictional boundaries, all of our at-large communities, so that we know, in fact, the things that we're teaching, the experiences that people have while they're there are accurate to our history and to our culture, and also it's something from which they learn when they come here and learn what it is to be Cherokee, what it's meant in the past, and what it means in the present. And some of the projects that I think are new that not entirely upon the people that I've known or things that I've done, but it's things that people have brought to the table. The University of Tulsa and Councilman Dobbins has been instrumental in working with us to arrange meetings with the president of the University of Tulsa so we can talk about how they're structured with the Gilcrease and work with them and the expertise that they can lend and make available to us as we go about having a museum and exhibits. It's the experiences that they have. And I have a very long time good friend, Joellen Archambault, who is at the Smithsonian. She's the curator for all of the Indian collections for the Smithsonian. So they've offered to help us. We're working with the AmeriCorps to get VISTA volunteers. We have a tremendous opportunity, and now we're working with a gentleman that's on my board, Ron Cambiano from Northeastern, and the people at Crystal Bridges over in Arkansas are ready to step up and work with us and with Northeastern to provide both paid and unpaid internships. So our people, because we have to build in succession. If we're going to have a museum, if we're going to do all of these things, we have to have young people getting educated and gaining the experiences on how to do these kinds of things. So they're willing to work with us on outreach, how we can work with them to set up and sponsor exhibits here in schools in northwestern Arkansas. So I'm looking forward to, and Dr. Cambiano and I are going over to Crystal Bridges sometime before the first of the year to actually formulate and to define that process so that we can identify now those students who are enrolled, because in the summers when the paid internships will happen. So we'll work with students in art, in collections, in American Indian history and Cherokee history. And I've got a couple of ladies here I want to introduce here in just a little while who work at the Heritage Center in the village, are students at Northeastern, and it's really amazing how they both exhibit their skills in terms of making things, their interactions with people and tourists that come through, but the actual stamina that it takes to be out there in 110-degree heat in July and August, and 30 degrees, here we are in November and December. We have a lot of additional kinds of ideas that we're wanting to try. Tomorrow we're meeting with the people from the United States Department of Agriculture. It's a department called Essential Community Facilities, and they fund libraries, performing arts centers. So we're going to think about and look at what we have with 44 acres as a campus and some additional kinds of ideas. So we'll be looking to you all to provide that input so we can expand the offerings, because I think our goal should be to make this truly a world-class facility. I had an incredible opportunity 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, I don't remember, but I was invited to go to Nebraska City, Nebraska, it's called the Lead Lodge, which is the Arbor Day Foundation. And the Northern Ponca tribe and an intertribal group up there wanted to know how we developed the Heritage Center and those things that we do to present Cherokee history and culture to the world, because they're interested in something similar for a Northern Plains type activity. And I serve on the U.S. Forest Service, some kind of coordinating committee. It's got some fancy long name, it takes forever to say it. But within that, we're going to do a forest resources inventory of what we have on the campus. And what they do at the Lead Lodge, which I think is absolutely phenomenal, is to have walking trails and permanent learning centers for young people to go and experience what it's like, what the trees are, what the plants are, what the animals are. And they even have art out in the woods, and you really have to pay attention to even see it, because they'll show you a picture of it and you have to look. But the Forest Service did one of these with the Eastern Band, and so a model's already in place, and I think we could do tremendous things with that. So as we move forward with these kinds of opportunities and things, we're going to be bringing them to the administration and the council so that we get the proper input, so that the things that we're doing in our partnership between the Cherokee Nation, the Cherokee National Historical Society, and we have a tremendous relationship with Cherokee Nation Business, and I look forward to more development of that, because we have to become economically self-sufficient. We have to have a good in-place business model with which we can do our operations. So in terms of what we're up to and what we're doing, very soon we'll be putting out some of the new plans and ideas that we're wanting to do with the community facilities, with the other offerings for communities both here and the at-large communities. But I think one thing that I think is most important is how we're going to attract young people into this. How do we get the younger generation prepared for succession, because we're not going to be here forever, and therefore we need highly qualified. So I have two young ladies here who have worked in the village. We sponsored them to go to the Southeast Archaeology Congress, and I would like to forward them, if it's okay, to give just a brief overview, because this was, I think, an excellent opportunity for them to network and find out what's going on out in the real world. Lily?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Geraldine Willie. I'm a junior at Northeastern State University. My major is in American Indian Studies.
My name is Lily Drywater. I'm also a junior and I have the same major.
About a month ago, the Cherokee Heritage Center provided us with the opportunity to attend the Southeastern Archaeological Conference held in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Here, we spent 4 days attending panels, discussions, and taking an educational field trip to close out the conference.
Throughout the conference, we attended panels and of archaeologists and professors, and they just told about their projects that they were involved in, and they did presentations on what they had gathered. And the most important thing I thought that what we learned, or that we got to see really, was the private collections of the Gill Cree. So we got to go inside and see the actual artifacts of the Cherokees that were however long ago.
Not only did we learn a lot during the conference, we gained a lot of experience in networking and sharing ideas. Everything we learned will no doubt help us in our future career paths.
And we would like to thank the Cherokee Heritage Center for this opportunity. This experience enabled us to begin our professional career paths as Native American women. Your investment in our futures is greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
With young people like this, I think we're on the right path. And again, we're a separate 501c3 nonprofit corporation, and I'd like to afford just an opportunity for Becky to kind of tell everybody how you can become a member and what you can do to help us support our activities so that we can move into the future. And again, I really want to make this a world-class facility. Becky.
Osio, everyone. My name is Becky Adair, and I've met many of you before, but what you may not know is I am the longest employed employee at the Cherokee Heritage Center. I've been there for 17 years. What I have done over the years is done everything from answer the telephones to now I'm working in membership and development, so I'm helping with the sustainment of our financial future for the Heritage Center. Like Dr. Gord said, we are a nonprofit organization since 1963. What many of you may or may not know, if you're familiar with the Heritage Center, some of you have visited the Heritage Center, some of you have invested in the Heritage Center, but we've been operational since 1963. And during that time, we've received millions of visitors worldwide come to the Cherokee Heritage Center, because again, as Dr. Gord said, we are the cultural face for Cherokee Nation. He spouted off some statistics. You know, of course, we have seen all 50 states for this year. We've seen 70 countries worldwide for this year. But there are some things that can't be measured by data sheets. There are some things that can't be measured by numbers. What I want to kind of talk more about is the impact that we have on people. We've done a presentation before with the group, and one of the things that one of the young ladies had said and told us was that when she was a young girl, her father used to bring her to the Cherokee Heritage Center, and they used to pick the persimmons off, and they would open up and read the seeds on how the weather was going to be like. You know, that's something that you can't measure on a spreadsheet. That's something that you can't, put down in a number. That's an impact that we're going to have for her for the rest of her life. You know, whether you have been temporary employed at the Heritage Center in season, whether you've worked in the village, whether you've entered the art show, whatever it has been, we've made impacts for people throughout their lives, and we're always going to be a part of that memory for them. So that's what we're trying to promote, is that we are a legacy. Whether you visited us once, whether you visit us every weekend, whether you do an art show again, whether you'd come in anytime for the cultural programming, we create a legacy for people. So what we're trying to promote here, and hopefully that you can help us with, is to try to encourage people to remember that we're a 501c3 nonprofit. So if ever you get an opportunity where somebody is just trying to figure out what they want to do, where they want to give and stuff like that, remember that we have these available. We're always open for donations. We're always open for planned giving. We do offer annual memberships that start from the time that you start your memberships. So for 12 months, you can become a member of the Cherokee National Historical Society. And I think that's about it. I'm open for questions, and if anybody has any questions. If not, I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Gord.
Becky, good report. What we probably need to do is look at how many of our CNB board members are members of the Heritage Center, as well as the council.
I can definitely get you those
Like you
numbers.
say, that is the face, and you guys do an excellent job there at
Thank
the
you.
Heritage Center. So we need the support. Keep us informed. That's one thing about this council here that I've learned is if you keep us informed and communicate what you're doing, we probably support it.
Okay.
No surprises.
Okay, I'll be sure to do that.
Dr. Gordon, appreciate your report. I just like to say, years ago, I know you guys are familiar with John Marshall. He made a historic decision in Wooster v. Georgia. Dr. Gordon and I traveled to Dallas, Texas, and met the grandson of John Marshall Jr. there. Then we were invited to go to the university, John Marshall University, and they allowed me to speak and say a few words, and that was pretty historic for me and very honorable, Dr. Gordon. That was interesting, the way you set that up.
That was truly an honor for us. He was the fifth generation named grandson of Chief Justice John Marshall, and he helped us tremendously in the early negotiations and work with the State Department on the UN Statement on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. So one of the things I always enjoyed when I called him, I hoped he wouldn't answer the phone because his answering machine had an old country and western song in it. He was a judge in the 14th district in Dallas somewhere, but his song on his answering machine was "I've Got Friends in Low Places."
Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Gordon.
you.
Appreciate
Thank
it. Okay. I wanted everyone to get a little feel on what the Heritage Center was doing, so we'll change periodically on different presenters other than our State of the Nation and then our CNB. Old business, none pending. We'll drop down to Rules Committee. Councilor Hargis, would you take that first one?
This is a resolution confirming the reappointment of Deacon Turner as a board member of a Cherokee Nation business. I move for its approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? One abstention. Councilor Jordan, would you take the next one?
Yes, this is resolution confirming the reappointment of Carolyn Allen as the fifth member of the Cherokee Nation Election Commission. I put that in the form of a motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Okay, 2. Councilor Warner, would you take the next one?
Yes, sir. This is a resolution confirming the appointment of Gary Dan Davis as a board member of the Cherokee Nation Foundation. I put this in form of a motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Councilor Taylor, would you take the next one?
This is a resolution approving a Treasury Services Agreement and granting a limited consent to be sued, and I put it in the form of a motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Next, Councilor Austin, would you take that?
Yes, this is an act amending Legislative Act 25-17 authorizing comprehensive capital budget for fiscal year 2018, Mod 1, and declaring an emergency, and I move for its approval.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Councilor Taylor, would you take the next one?
It's an act amending Legislative Act 26-17, authorizing the comprehensive operating budget for fiscal year 2018, Mod 3, and declaring an emergency, and I move for its approval.
A motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it.
Speaker, I'd
Yes.
like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add 2 items out of the Rules Committee today and make those numbers 6, 7, and 8.
Okay, motion to amend. Got a second? Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Councilor Lay, you want to take that one?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Speaker, an act, number 7, an act relating to amendment of Title 18, Article 3, Section 18 of the Cherokee Nation General Corporation Act, increasing dividends, providing for severity, and declaring an emergency, and this as amended in Rules Committee today. Move for its approval.
Second.
You got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, ayes have it. Counselor Lay, you want to go ahead and take the last one?
Thank you, sir. Number 8, a legislative act amending Title 62 of Cherokee Nation Code and establishing the Cherokee Nation Sovereign Wealth Fund. Move for its approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the ayes have it. That concludes our items. Any announcements to my right here? Any announcement to the left? Counselor Jordan?
Community meeting, tomorrow night, 5:30.
Hulbert High School, right?
Yes, School High School Auditorium.
Okay. And Cherokee Nation employees, staff, we're having our luncheon tomorrow. So come, starts at 11 o'clock. You'll be in the west end of the complex. Deputy, bring your staff. Everybody just mind their manners and good attitude, and we'll take care of you.
I'll be on travel tomorrow, Speaker.
Will you? Oh, my. Okay. You're not driving one of those electric cars, are you?
No, sir.
Okay.
We'll save you some leftovers.
All right, that concludes our meeting. They got, oh, sweetie, los, hey, what don't? Make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
We are adjourned.